Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening? To the Universal African People's Organization family, what's going on? And to New Life Evangelistic Center family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our cameraman, Bob. On that note, we'll have another great show, because in studio with me is a colleague of mine and an activist who is the president of the local St. Louis chapter of the NAACP, which is Adolphus Pruitt. Welcome to Conversation.
Man, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing?
Always good to hang out with you.
I know, that's right. It's good. Likewise.
We always have those conversations.
Absolutely. And we got several things that we got to talk about,
God.
But before we really delve in some of the issues that I'd like to get into, on the way here, being a student of history as well as a history teacher, provide for us real quickly the background of the NAACP, the historical background.
In reality, the NAACP...
First of all, what does the NAACP stand for?
National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Actually, its origins really started out of the riot of Springfield in response to the riots that occurred in Springfield, and from there...
Springfield?
Illinois.
Okay.
And from there, folks got together, formed a organization to address the issues that were impacting African Americans, and we've been around since, 1911, and it has been, how should I say it? It has been very resourceful and effective during the prime years of fighting for civil rights, and we're still pretty effective today. But if you go back and look at most of the major accomplishments that we've had and advancements we have for people of color in the United States, NAACP was a direct part of it in some form and fashion.
So a key player was W.B. Du Bois.
W.B. Du Bois was Ida B. Wells and folk like that. They when you start talking about the Niagara movement,
right?
That's the origin. That's where we come from as an organization.
So now, how long has the NAACP been in existence in the St. Louis area?
Since 2 years after the National.
Okay.
Yeah, after the NAACP was born, 2 years after that, we came to be and have been here ever since. There are any number of lawsuits and things that occurred that were fought here that actually changed national policy when we talk about the restricted covenants. Supreme Court struck that down.
And now, what is the restricted covenant?
Back then in St. Louis, they had restricted covenants where somebody white owned a piece of property and a restricted covenant on it that says it was on the deed that says you can only sell this house to somebody else white.
Right.
And that's when the Shelley case come out of on Ashland and what we call the Ville now, which was a case that we helped fight and eliminate restricted covenants. Lord Gaines graduated from high school in St. Louis and college and wanted to go to law school at Mizzou, at the University of Missouri Law School. They denied him. The NAACP fought that fight, and legally we won. But he never got a chance to go because right after winning, and matter of fact, they show you what they did. When we won the case, what they did was set up the Lincoln Law School in St. Louis and say, okay, he can go to the black law school in St. Louis. And he's like, no, I'm going to go to the white law school. And finally, they gave in, had to do it, but he wound up relocating to Chicago. And after he did that, he's never been heard of since. But that case there, not only did we fight it, but it was the early years of Thurgood Marshall too. And so the legal precedents that was fought here for Lord Gaines actually formed the foundation for the Brown versus the Board of Education case, which ended segregation in public education.
Okay, so for our audience, And you mentioned Thurgood Marshall. Who was Thurgood Marshall? Just in case some people...
Thurgood Marshall was the first African-American member of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay, so why is it important for folks to know history?
Well, listen. History has a way of repeating itself over and over again. And if you don't know what happened to you in the past, then when it comes up again, when I say ignorant, I'm not trying to be negative, but ignorant means that you don't have any prior knowledge,
right,
or you don't have conscious knowledge of what's going on. And so it has a chance to repeat itself. And then you find yourself in the same condition over and over again, and you're fighting to get out that condition, but you don't realize that the same tactic that they used to restrain you the first time, they keep using it over again, and the only reason it's working because you haven't realized that it's the same tactic, nor have you developed a strategy to combat it.
And I'm glad you defined it such as that, because part of our discussion looked like there's a repeat around the whole issue of voting for black people in this country. You know, coming out of the Civil War, you had what was called the Reconstruction period. Mm-hmm. Black people had access to elected positions and what have you. And then you had a period where it was taken away from us.
Absolutely.
And almost no representation of black folks. And then we've made great advancements electorally,
yes,
through the Voting Rights Act, and most recently there was a reversal of or an attack on the Voting Rights Act. Right. Explain specifically the recent Supreme Court ruling around the Voting Rights Act and the response of the NAACP, but we don't have to do it on the other side of the break.
It's in the Word of God that we see how we can make poverty personal. And we see that for by grace we saved, that not of ourselves, it's a gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast. We're saved by faith in our Lord Jesus Christ and His grace extended to us. But that also involves obedience. For faith without works is dead. When we have faith in Christ, we're going to want to be obedient to Him. We're going to want to follow Him. We want to give you many opportunities here at the New Life Evangelistic Center to live out your faith, to help the poor and the needy. Go to nlecstl.org. That's nlecstl.org, and discover all those opportunities, or call us at 314-421-3020. Tell everyone you know about NLEC TV and all the things that are being offered free here to help people grow in their faith and help the poor and needy.
Today's subject, Thurgood Marshall. Born in Maryland in 1908. In 1930, he applied to the University of Maryland Law School, but was denied admission because he was black. Thurgood sought admission and was accepted at the Howard University Law School that same year and came under the influence of the dynamic new dean, Charles Hamilton Houston. Paramount in Houston's outlook was a need to overturn the 1898 Supreme Court ruling, Plessy versus Ferguson, which established the legal doctrine called separate but equal. Thurgood Marshall later became the chief counsel for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. After amassing an impressive record of Supreme Court challenges to state-sponsored discrimination, including the landmark Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954, President John F. Kennedy appointed Thurgood Marshall to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 2nd District. On June 13, 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson nominated Thurgood Marshall to fill the seat of retiring U.S. Supreme Court Justice Tom Clark. Marshall served on the court until his death, January 24, 1993.
God loves a cheerful giver. Even though things are really tough right now, you can make a difference in the lives of so many. New Life has been doing this work for 50 years, and we have seen God's gracious goodness through people like you who have participated in this work. There are so many people who are suffering. More people are becoming homeless for the first time with the rising costs of inflation and food and housing and so many other commodities. We need help. You can make a difference today in the lives of so many by giving your tax-deductible gift to P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. Or go to newlifeevangelisticcenter.org or call to get involved in this incredible work.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Adolphus Pruitt, who's the president of the local St. Louis chapter of the NAACP. And on the other side of the break, I was asking you to share with our audience the essence of the recent Supreme Court decision and how has the NAACP responded.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a historical perspective to now and what's changed, there was once a point in time where the Supreme Court upheld what we call pre-clearance. And in the southern states, what it did was say that in order before those states can change their voting laws and before they can do certain things from redistricting and drawing lines which establish congressional conditions, they had to submit that to the Justice Department and get approval, get that stuff done pre-approved ahead of time, because they were using it as a tool to suppress the voting power of African Americans in the southern states, because those southern states, because the black population was so large, that's where a lot of our representation at the federal level was coming out of. Folks, if you go back and look prior to Reconstruction, and when we first started getting the rights to vote and exercising that right, we had any number of black senators in the Senate, in the Congress, and we had all sort of power. But they started restricting it. Pre-clearance came. We started working our way back up into the system, where they've been knocking away. They got rid of pre-clearance, and then recently they started dealing with the issue we call gerrymandering. Gerrymandering was basically saying that you cannot draw a congressional district in a way where it dilutes the voting power of that black population that lives in that area. And the best example we can use is that the first congressional district. It was drawn in a way where it
and the first congressional district of Missouri.
Is Wesley Bell's district that was created under Congressman Bill Clay back in the 60s. And basically it provided a means for the black population in the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County to be able to elect somebody to Congress that looks like them, elect somebody they choice. It didn't say they had to be black,
right.
But the bottom line was it made sure that within that congressional district, 51%, 55%, 60% of that population was black. So that now the black representation, blacks could elect somebody that they want to represent them, black, white, or otherwise. Well, what the Supreme Court just did was sort of take that away and say that, hey, based on all of the advancements that African Americans have made in this country now, the need to restrict gerrymandering, the need to restrict them from drawing districts the way they want, we no longer need it because we equal now. We's overcome, that according to the Supreme Court. So they took those protections away. And when they took them away, all across the South and in Missouri and other states, Texas, Illinois did just the opposite. Majority white legislatures begin now to take those districts and draw them in a way where now those districts are majority white versus black, and majority, in some cases, Republican versus Democrat. And they did that so they can sort of guarantee that they would control Congress, at least the House of Representatives, going forward in the future. Because with the president being a Republican, with the Republicans controlling the Senate and the Republicans controlling the House, they have unfettered, unrestricted ability to pass laws and do all this stuff that Donald Trump is doing. And the only way to stop it right now has recently been in the courts. But since the Senate confirms the judges who make up the courts, then if you don't control the Senate, you don't control who the judges are. So now they are putting conservative judges in court. Matter of fact, that's how we got the Supreme Court we have now. They, over the years, have ensured that they put conservative judges at the Supreme Court, and those conservative judges are now doing what what taking away the protections that we had, taking away the protections that women had as it relates to abortion. They overturned that as a 50-year precedent, and now they're going after the Voting Rights Act, and they turning that, and we still got 2 rulings to come down, because we still got birthright citizenship is before the Supreme Court, and I think this issue about mail-in ballots and stuff like that, which can impact voting strength. So, bottom line is that so the NAACP, in response to it, came up with what we call the out of bounds, where those states, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, all those states in those southern states where gerrymandering has gone off the chain, where those legislatures have said, hey, well, now the Supreme Court is with us, we're going to draw primarily white districts and dilute black voting power across the South, where a lot of our population is. The NAACP came up with out of bounds where we're saying that, hey, if you're an athlete, you're a high school person, and these schools in those states, colleges are recruiting you, don't go there. Don't go there, because they're taking away voting rights for the people who you represent. Don't go there. It's telling the alumni and from those institutions and the fans, don't go to those games at those state universities in those states there. Don't buy that paraphernalia. Don't buy that stuff. Don't spend your money on them or with them. And it's telling the students who are already there what we call the image and likeness, name, image, and likeness, NIL, because they passed it where students were able to get compensated, were able to make money off of their name, their image, and their likeness. Well, we're telling them, if you're a part of that, if you black, and if you white, but especially if you black, use your name, image, and likeness to demand that we retain those voting rights, and to talk about how important the Voting Rights Act is. Those are the things that the out of bounds initiative is, and that's what the NAACP is trying to do.
So so that's a form of, I guess you can say, selective boycotting in the sense.
Both economic and somewhat selective, because it's telling them, hey, and you don't have to go to those white state colleges. Go to the HBCUs, because in each one of those states, you have plenty of historically black colleges and universities.
Now, some people may argue then are you creating a situation of reverse separation, segregation by advocating that, but respond on the other side of the break.
Do you have any idea how many people are having to sleep outside? Yes, viewers of the Zaki Baruti Show, you are being called into action at this time. Your help is urgently needed here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. Our teams are going out every day, and we need your prayers. We need your gifts here, because we receive no city, state, or federal dollars. How many times I have to personally run to the store in order to just buy meat and bread? People could be making sandwiches and bringing them to the doors here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could be buying cases of water and bringing them here so we can get these out to the homeless people. 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could write out those checks and send them in, because we have to buy this. They're depending upon us. And not only that, they get bus tickets, hundreds and even thousands of bus tickets distributed to so many people who need transportation assistance. We can't do it without each and every one of you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You give online at nlecstl.org. Your prayers are urgently needed at this time. Come on, and you watch the Zaki Baruti Show. You hear about the various issues. Now it's important that we respond to those issues by helping so many people that have fallen through the safety nets in spite of the promises of the politicians. So many people are hurting right now. They're out there. They don't know where to go. What are they doing? I don't see hardly anything in St. Louis County, Jefferson County, St. Francis County. I can mention county after county, Madison County, St. Clair County. They want to ship them to St. Louis. St. Louis can't take care of all the problems. But we got to get all these other counties involved. In the meantime, we got to get your church involved. We need you. But let's get our churches involved. Let's reach out. Let's help those that Jesus referred to. The least of these, after you've done to them, you've done it unto him. Let's help them right now. Please get involved. Call us at 314-421-3020 or share that much needed gift at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Brother Adolphus Pruitt of the local chapter of the NAACP, and we're discussing the recent Supreme Court decision as it impacts voting rights and response from the national NAACP. So on the other side of the break, I was asking, so if black athletes don't go to the southern schools that over the years people were fighting to integrate, would we be creating a reverse segregation, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Some people can say that, but the question would be is this. If there's a restaurant that is feeding, that you can go there and you can order two different, you got chicken on the menu. And when white people order chicken, it get good chicken. When black people order chicken, it's got paws and then it was old chicken.
Okay.
and so I'm telling you, don't go to that restaurant. Because if you black and go in that restaurant, you're going to get treated different.
Okay.
Or even if they gave you the good white people chicken, your brothers, your cousins, your other folks are getting the bad piece of chicken.
Right.
And what we're saying is that if you why support states? Because the state universities, state colleges are funded by the state, and that funding comes and then they exist. They are part of the state, which is a part of the state government, which is part of the state legislature, and it's that state legislature that is redrawing these districts. So they all one and the same. And so we saying them is that why are we going to reward them for trying to hurt black people and their ability to elect representation that they want, whether black or white? Why support them? Why help feed a system that is trying to systematically put its foot on the neck of people that look like me and you?
Right.
So whether whether the foot is directly on my neck or not is irrelevant. Because if it's on the neck of my kids, if it's on the neck of my cousin, if it's on the neck of Zaki, I want to cut that damn foot off.
I know that's right. But you made mention, too, as an alternative, historical black colleges. Are there a number of historical black colleges in the South?
Listen, there are the historically black colleges and universities are primarily in those southern states. When you start talking about Tuskegee, when you start talking about Florida A&M, when you start talking about TSU, and don't get me started with Texas. I mean, listen, they are, not only are they there, but they're very good, comparable universities.
Right.
They can get the job done.
Right. Well, you know what? I'll put in a personal plug. I'm proud to say that 3 of my children graduated from historical black colleges, Florida A&M, Clark University, and Southern University. And I just had a grandson that graduated from Tennessee State. So
listen, and those schools, and then let's be clear, they got law schools, they got med schools, they got engineering schools. So don't think that those universities, when we say leave those state universities alone and go to the HBCU, we're not asking you to go to a second-hand institution. The people would like to think they are because we occupy them. And if you think they are because they full of black folks, then I got a problem with you. I'm just saying.
I know. I hear you all the way on that line. I hear you. But let me ask you this, too. On the national level, there has been an attack on black colleges from the government. Have they not been cutting back on funds going? But we have to talk about that again on the other side of the break.
Yeah, buddy.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. And it's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
Welcome back. Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me for a couple more minutes is Adolphus Pruitt, and we'll most definitely have to do a part 2. Finish your thought from the prior thing when I was asking you about the cuts coming from the state government toward black colleges and universities.
Yeah, let's bring it home. So, land-grant universities, by Constitution, are entitled to certain dollars from the federal government, but it's matching dollars. So, in other words, if the state put up $1 for that institution, the government would match it.
Okay.
When you look at what happens just here in Missouri, we got Lincoln University and University of Missouri Columbia.
Right.
Both are land grant. Mizzou gets hundreds of millions of dollars in research grants and also the grants from the government because the state puts up money to match it. When they looked at what Lincoln University has lost, they should have gotten, it's in $100 million or better. What they did not get, what they were entitled to, but the state failed to put the things in place so they can qualify and get those dollars. Well, we just talked about one across the country that is the case. So there are billions of dollars that are due just to HBCUs that they're not getting their fair share because the states are not doing what they're going to do, and the federal government is happy to oblige the states by not sending money to those institutions.
So then that's absolutely a reflection of the kind of struggle that we're in terms of the reversals or wherever progress that we've made within this country. Would you agree to that statement?
Let me tell you something. People can talk about Minister Farrakhan. They can talk about your organization. They talk about all these organizations being pro-black and segregationists and this and that. But listen, sometimes when you cannot rely on other folks to do what you have to do for yourself. Sometimes we have to step up and do for ourselves. Our historically black colleges and universities, they are stepping up. Regardless of the cuts and all the other stuff, the greatest cut that we need to fight for those black institutions is the Negroes that graduated from them, who are not sending money back there. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Let's be clear. The alumni from those institutions, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking bad about you to talk bad. What I'm saying to you is that if we're going to replicate what the majority population does, well, St. Louis University, the University of Missouri, Columbia, and all those universities, their alumni is one of their greatest boosters that send money back. Well, we're going to do like they do, and let's do it for our black institutions also.
Well, I'm going to sum it up like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say, got to do for self.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, Adolphus, we'll have to have a part 2. Most recently, you just visited the great country of Kenya and on a very, very important subject, AI. And so part 2, I'm going to be dealing with that, okay?
Yeah.
And so thank you for being here to the audience. Vote at every election, but before you go vote, know the issues, as well as join an organization that speaks truth to power and have a history of working to uplift humanity. We say join the Universal African People's Organization or the NAACP, but some organization. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you.